Hey everybody, how you doing? It is Sean from Ridesharing101.com. And today, the topic of the daily vlog is join a ride-sharing Facebook group. Okay? Now this is very important. The reason you want to join a ride-sharing Facebook group is for information. You can learn a lot. Now, I know there are a lot of characters on Facebook, and there are a lot of trolls, and you're going to get some misinformation, but you're also going to find a lot of interesting and informative information as well. Let me give you an example. I am the moderator of a ride-sharing Facebook group called Ridesharing101, all one word. Feel free to join if you're not a member. Just apply, and I'll accept you. Yesterday, I drive in the San Francisco Bay Area, but the rideshare group this one is for everywhere. There's different ones that are national, different ones that are local. So this one is for San Francisco Bay Area and beyond. Uber, Lyft, what have you. Yesterday in San Bruno, in the San Francisco Bay Area, at the Tanforan Mall, there was a tragic shooting of some teenagers. And it was, I think, a teenager on teenager kind of thing. And I don't know if it was a robbery gone bad, if it was a quote-unquote disrespect thing. Anyway, the assailants got away, but the whole area was in chaos. Right next to the Tanforan Mall, it's a big shopping center with like a Target and a Barnes & Noble bookstore. There's also a BART station, B-A-R-T, Bay Area Rapid Transit, otherwise known as the subway. Okay. Now, all of that is shut down. Right next to the Tanforan Mall is a freeway interchange, Highway 380. It connects Highway 101 and Highway 280. There's an exit, the off-ramp, onto El Camino Real, which borders the same mall. All that was in chaos. They shut down the BART station. They shut down the mall. They shut down the exit onto El Camino Real from the freeway. Traffic got backed up. It was a zoo. I heard about it on the radio. I was listening to sports radio, and I posted on the Facebook group, hey, shooting at Tanforan Mall, beware, because of, traffic and, a lot of people, their kids go there and just hang out, and it's summertime. So I wanted people to be able to check on their kids and just avoid the area in general if they didn't have any business in the area. Now, I normally rent a car to Uber because my car is registered in Oregon. I cannot drive a car with Oregon plates, so lately I've been having to rent a car. The car that I rent, I usually rent it from the garage of the BART parking lot. Now, the day in question, I was not renting the car from that location. If I had, I wouldn't have been able to return it because it would have been shut down. It would have been a nightmare. If I needed to rent a car to do business, I wouldn't have been able to do that because it was shut down, and that would have been a nightmare, and I wouldn't have been able to make any money. That's money out of my pocket. Now, if you know that the BART is shut down, you know some of the following information. They shut down BART from San Bruno on down. The end of the line is down in Millbrae. And a lot of people get off at San Bruno or Millbrae to go to the airport. So the last BART stop is in South San Francisco. So if you'd been aware and paying attention, you could have gone to the San Bruno BART station, and you probably could have gotten a lot of fares going to the airport. You could have gone back and forth. It's relatively close to the airport. You could have dropped off at the airport, gone back to South City, and you could have done that repeatedly. In addition, there's a Caltrain station in San Bruno. So a lot of people take Millbrae. A lot of people will take the BART down to Millbrae, and get on the Caltrain, the train, and take that further south. Well, if BART is stopping at South San Francisco, they can't get to Caltrain. They're going to need a ride. Again, a Uber driver or a Lyft driver that was paying attention, that was in the area, again, could have gone to South San Francisco BART station and taken people down to Caltrain. Now, there was what they call a bus bridge, which is a bus that takes people from that station on down, but the buses aren't readily available, they fill up, and they're a little slower than car. And you have a lot of people who want to get there quicker, and they'd rather pay an Uber or a Lyft to go down to where they need to go. Again, if you had been paying attention, if you were a member of a Facebook group, you would have known this. Now, there is something called AB 5, which is Assembly Bill 5. That is a bill that would make rideshare and gig economy workers employees. And it's something that Uber and Lyft are trying to squash. And there is a rally coming up in Sacramento on Tuesday with Uber. Uber wants people to show up. They're going to give you a $15 food truck voucher, which is good for the first X amount of people that show up. Again, this is posted on a lot of Facebook groups. If you're not a member, you might not know. If you don't check your messages, if you haven't driven for a while, you might not know. You might not know that this is happening. Now, if you're a new driver, there's information you can get off a Facebook page. There's so much information. You could be like, hey, you know what? I just moved to the area. My car is making a weird sound. I need a mechanic. Does anybody know a good mechanic? If you're in San Mateo, I would recommend Shinazaki Motors, I believe. Great mechanics. If you need tires and you're in San Bruno, I would say go to Hanlon's. These are questions that you can post on the Facebook group. You can ask questions, you can give information. Sometimes the information is good, sometimes it's not so good. But I had a creative writing teacher in college who basically said some really good advice. Said if you have a short story and you give it to 10 people and have them read it, and you get 10 different answers, you can basically ignore it. If one person says, hey, change the tense from first person to third person. If one person says, change the character from male to female. If a third person says, hey, set this story in the past instead of the future. If everything is different, you can pretty much ignore it. But if you give this story to 10 people and 6 of them say, hey, you need more dialogue, then you might want to consider that. Same thing with ride sharing. You post on the Facebook group, hey, anybody know a good place for tires? If most of the people say, hey, go to Hanlon's in San Bruno, then go to Hanlon's. This kind of applies to everything. So join a Facebook group. Join multiple Facebook groups. There are, and I've met people from Facebook groups. I've met the moderator of the San Francisco group, Joel Unger. I've met Eileen as well. I've run into them just, out and about. I've met Renee from the Sacramento group. I've met Linda from the Medford, Oregon group. Haven't met, but I've talked to Jill from the San Francisco group and other groups many a time. So I've had some great conversations and, gotten to know some people from Facebook. But it can be a social thing, but it certainly doesn't have to. But it's definitely an informational thing. And it's good to talk about, hey, if I need to find a bathroom late night and I'm in this area, can somebody recommend something? And a lot of people say, hey, there's a Starbucks that's open 24 hours in the city. Go check it out. So joining a Facebook group can be very, very informative and very helpful. And, you could join a group that has like 10,000 people and you'll notice, only about like 100 people kind of post with any sort of regularity. And a lot of times that's how it goes. But Facebook groups can be very informative. I recommend you join one, and feel free to join Ridesharing101. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. Drive safe. I'll see you next video.